Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex, and we have another trade. This is kind of stemming off what happened during the Damian Lillard trade. Jrue Holiday is on his way to the Boston Celtics, so the Blazers in this trade, they end up trading away Jrue Holiday, and in return they get Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams. They get 2 first-round picks, one of which is a 2024 first-round pick from the Warriors, and they also get a 2029 unprotected first-round pick from the Boston Celtics. So quickly before we get to the Celtics side, because there is quite a lot to talk about on that end, with the Blazers getting 2 first-round picks from Jrue, I think is very solid, and then also getting Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams. These guys have kind of struggled with injuries, especially last year, and getting Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon in this trade along with those 2 first-round picks, I think is very good, especially since they could potentially trade those guys as well and get even more assets, whether that's a draft pick or even just a young player. That is definitely on the table for them. So I would say overall from this Dame trade, I think they're really getting themselves a lot of assets for the future in the rebuild, and I think they are starting off very well. Now for the Celtics, this changes a lot of things because they traded Marcus Smart and they ended up getting Kristaps Porzingis in this trade. And while I thought losing Marcus Smart was kind of bad for the Celtics because I didn't think Brogdon and Derek White could carry the offensive load, at least in terms of playmaking, like I thought Smart was doing, especially this last season. But getting Jrue Holiday is just such an upgrade from what they had with Marcus Smart. I think Jrue Holiday is by far and away a better playmaker and passer than Marcus Smart. His defense, while Marcus Smart is very good on defense, I think Jrue Holiday is the best defensive guard in the league, and I think Jrue Holiday is just so much smarter. He makes so much better decisions, and while the inconsistencies are still there, especially from a scoring perspective, especially in the playoffs for Jrue Holiday, that is definitely a big question mark for him. I still think it would be an improvement for Marcus Smart because Marcus Smart also had his ups and downs. So just in terms of an upgrade of point guard, I think Jrue Holiday is an upgrade from Marcus Smart, and being able to get Kristaps Porzingis from that Marcus Smart trade, this starting lineup from the Celtics that's going to consist of Jrue Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis, I think is one of the best starting fives in the NBA. Now, in terms of losing Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, yes, this is a lot of depth that the Celtics are going to be giving up, but with the injury history that Robert Williams has been facing the past season or two, and the potential injury risk with Malcolm Brogdon, with the injury, I believe, from his wrist from last year, that was also a big question. So, when you look at it from the Celtics perspective, they would probably much rather feel more comfortable getting Jrue Holiday, who is probably going to be playing some more games, going to bring them a little bit more consistency. And in terms of Kristaps Porzingis kind of filling in that Robert Williams role, look, he's not as good of a defender as Robert Williams, but he sure as hell is a way better offensive player. And Porzingis is still one of the better shot blockers in the league. Of course, the versatility is not going to be there, but I think the Celtics are probably just betting on Porzingis probably being a little bit more healthy and giving them a lot more versatility as a team. And that on its own, I think, is probably more valuable than what Robert Williams could do. Because even if Robert Williams was playing majority of the season, his minutes might be fluctuating around that 25-minute per game mark. And if you're Porzingis, he's probably going to be playing a little bit more than that. So I don't know. I think in general, in terms of a player sense, I think the Celtics have gotten a good upgrade from not only with Jrue Holiday at point guard, but also with Porzingis kind of like as their lead big man. However, again, like I said before, the Celtics lost a lot of depth from this trade. Now, I'm assuming Al Horford's going to be coming off the bench as their 6-man backup big. But then after that, the one thing that's really concerning me right now is if Porzingis or even Al Horford at his advanced age, if any one of those guys sustain an injury, who is going to be that big man that comes as like the 3rd string big guy that's really going to solidify things? Of course, as I'm recording this video, the Celtics also just got Wayne Gabriel. That is not the answer. No matter what Woj says, he is not a 7-footer. He is a 6'9" guy. And yes, he brings a lot of energy, and I think he is a pretty decent rebounder. But outside of those things, I don't really think he does anything else at an average level. And when you look at the free agent market in general, I don't really think there's a lot of great options. But not only do I think that they're kind of missing out on some more big man depth, I also think they're kind of missing out on some like wing forward depth as well. Outside of Peyton Pritchard and Al Horford, I don't really know who's going to be fighting for these minutes off the bench. Sam Hauser will probably be getting some backup small forward minutes. They also got Lamar Stevens, but these guys aren't really doing it for me. I think the Celtics definitely need to get a little bit better upgrades at that backup forward spot. But again, the free agent market is kind of suspect. Now, could they potentially get a trade during the middle of the season to upgrade those positions? Definitely, but at least I'm not foreseeing anything crazy right now. I definitely don't know what's going to be happening in the future, but as it currently stands, the depth is a problem for the Celtics, but they're very top heavy as well. So the Celtics top 6 players may be able to cancel out kind of what the bench is going to be looking like, so maybe the bench isn't going to be that much of a problem. Now, looking at the complete landscape of the Eastern Conference, obviously based off my video from last talking about the Dame trade, I thought the Bucks were by far and away the best team. Now things are a little bit interesting. I think now it's between the Celtics and Bucks. I think it's a two-man race. The 76ers with the whole Harden situation, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I can tell you right now, I don't think the 76ers, no matter what happens, it's going to beat the Celtics or the Bucks. In the Heat, oh my god, man, the Heat, that will be a video in the future as well. They have completely lost this offseason, and I just don't see a way that they're going to make it to the conference finals either. So to me, it's a two-team race in the East between the Bucks and the Celtics. And just for seeing what I think is going to happen, I don't know. I honestly, it's a coin flip in my opinion. I think Jrue Holiday is going to be the best guy to put on Damian Lillard. I still have a sour taste in my mouth with what happened in the playoffs when the Blazers played the Pelicans in the first round, and the Blazers were the 3 seed, Pelicans were the 6 seed, and Jrue Holiday absolutely locked up Damian Lillard. Dame went for like 18 points per game in that series. The Blazers got swept, and Jrue Holiday probably had his best offensive series of his entire career. That is definitely something to think about, but when you just talk about matchups, I think it's really interesting because when you look at the Celtics, how are they going to match up with Giannis? Especially when you think about all the big man depth that they did lose. How is that going to work now against Giannis? Will Giannis have an easier time scoring on the Celtics team? Al Horford is mainly the main defender on Giannis, and I think he does a really good job. But again, Porzingis, if he gets injured, what's going to happen with that? And who's going to be the other big that's going to size up with Giannis as well? I think Grant Williams, I'm going to bring him up now because I think he is a low post defender that the Celtics will also be missing. So I think it'll be interesting from the Celtics side how they match up with the Bucks. But when you also look at the Bucks as well, who is going to be guarding Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? Sure, I think Giannis is definitely going to be having more of a role as an on-ball defender, probably against Tatum. But then even just looking at Jaylen Brown, you'll probably put Chris Middleton on him. But depending on how Chris Middleton comes back from his injury from last season, I'm not 100% on Chris Middleton being the defender he was before his injury. So that is still kind of a concern. And the Bucks will still have to guard guys on the perimeter like Jrue Holiday and Derek White, those guys being able to put the ball on the floor. I just don't know how well that's going to work out. And also take into the fact that the Celtics perimeter defense, I think, is probably the best in the league. Jrue Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum. It's insane what that perimeter defense is going to look like. So if the Bucks and Celtics match up, to me, again, I think it's going to be a coin flip. I think there are ways that the Celtics can definitely take advantage of the Bucks, but I think the same works vice versa with the Bucks being able to take advantage of the Celtics. These are two completely different teams now, in my opinion. So going based off what has happened in the past, I think it kind of switches up a little bit, so we'll just have to see. But those are my overall thoughts on this Jrue Holiday trade. Let me know down below what y'all think. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and sub. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so it'd mean a lot. You can check out my socials down below in the description, and you can check out this video somewhere on the screen where I go over the Damian Lillard trade. That is probably very important, especially since the Jrue Holiday trade is connected to it. So you should watch it. Please, I'm begging you. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.